Hello, loves. Welcome back to my human experience, where the mind meets the body and the body meets the soul. This is season 2, where we will be meeting with influential people that have impactful stories. Today's guest is Joseph Stanton, a visual artist, fire dancer, chainsaw carver, and creator of Germ Index. He's on a quest to infect the world with his art, explore spirit, and build community. Through infectious creations, fiery performances, whimsical sculptures, and intercultural exchanges around the globe, Joseph ignites imagination, spreads joy, and fights for creative dreams. Join us as we dive into his journey of passion, resilience, and magic.
I would say the bulk of this journey started like going to Burning Man. Like I was an artist all my life, but that was like the pinnacle point in my life as just discovering myself, you know what I mean?
When did you first go to Burning Man and what brought you there?
Okay, so a little bit of heaviness involved with this, you know what I mean? I didn't know anything about Burning Man, hardly, except being a kid growing up and seeing the art cars and seeing the bits through town as we all do that time of year, you know what I mean? And the dirty cars, and had heard stories, but didn't really know much about it, you know? And I was about 18, maybe almost 19. And I was dating this girl. She was 22, and she got hit by a drunk driver. And it was not good. Like she probably shouldn't be here today, but luckily she lived. And to make a long story short, I spent I did 2 months in the hospital with her, and the aftercare, you know.
Yeah.
And then I ended up moving her into my house and like taking care of her. You know, she was like in a full wheelchair, like had to learn to walk again, the whole shebang, you know. And I spent 6 months with her living in my house, like pretty much taking care of her, you know. And then when she got better and stuff like that, she had this desire to go back out in the world and to do things. And so she wanted to go to Burning Man. And she had never been. So like I helped her get ready and like do all these things with her. And I was just trying to be supportive, you know, and because I wasn't going, you know. And the night before she left, she dumped me in a text message and turned off her phone.
Oh my gosh.
And disappeared. And I was devastated, like just absolutely, I didn't know what to think, you know?
Yeah.
But I just like, I don't know what, all of a sudden, it's like the middle of the week, I was like, and I like put my motorcycle up for sale and I sold it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to Burning Man. I was like, I'm going. And so I like dragged my friend into it. I hardly ever did anything with him. And I was like, we're going. Like, I just need this. Like, I need to pick up wristbands from some scalper. And like my boss, she loved me and like was like, knew everything I just went through. And I was supposed to go the next day, like after work. She's like, you're not coming to work tomorrow, but the only hitch is you have to leave tonight for Burning Man. So me and my friend go out there. It's like Thursday night. I get there at 2 a.m, don't know anything about this place, you know, and it just blew my mind, you know. And it's like hard if you've never been to like really put into words what it is, but I knew nothing about it. Here I am wandering around, like kind of looking for this girl, you know what I mean? But to make a long story short, I went there looking for her and I found myself, you know what I mean?
Really like that.
Yeah, like truly, like it was like the start of a new journey in my life, like where I was connecting with a side of myself that it's hard to put in words, but you feel so free there, and you really can like be touched yourself. And then like it's crazy because I like took a year off. I moved to North Dakota of all places, just because I had like never had my own bedroom, and I was like, I found a job and I was out of there. You know what I mean? And then I had a medical emergency, and I like came very close with, you know, like I was dancing with death, basically. You know what I mean? And I had just enough money to buy a Burning Man ticket. I could go for real. And I was like, I'm going. And so my buddy, the first one I dragged, me and him were going to go back together. He's like, hey, this girl in my class is in a camp. Do you want to join this camp? And so joined this camp, and they're called Galavan. And I like built this little mobile art show that I could pull on my bike. And I happened to camp next to a chainsaw carver. And he ended up becoming, like, the weekend after that, I was at his house and he became my mentor and led me on the path of chainsaw carving. And then it spiraled into me doing installations for him, like leading a lot of crews and being heavily involved with like putting up monuments out there. And that camp has now become, I've been with that camp now for about 13 years. And I'm like very involved, and we have a big art car that we work on. And, they're my family, and they all have been a tremendous support in helping me become the person I am and believing me. And because I couldn't do this without my friends and family. I just wouldn't be as far as I am without all the people that have gone behind me to help me on this journey. You know what I mean? So the Burning Man world, I mean, I could go on for days about that, but it really was a catalyst for change in my life and opening doors to even Bali. I met a dude on Playa spinning fire. He's like, you should come to Bali and spin on my temple. I did. And it sent me on a whole other part of this. So like a lot of these really impactful things that have come to me in life and that I've pursued have been through the Burning Man, but Burning Man experience, just the community out there and what it is able to spark and create. So
That's really cool. It's kind of almost serendipitous.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of cool part is it was really like a journey, and it was like, it felt aligned with my purpose. It was like and I was so just in love with it and so passionate about, all of it that I feel like it's like when you live with that fire in you, you kind of like you kind of, I always say there's like manifestation was at my fingertips, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I experienced just some of the most incredible magic, as I like to call it, just from doing what I loved and being the person I wanted to be and like believing in myself. And not only that, like I said, having a lot of people that believed in me too and have helped me along on this. So
yeah, I love it. So you went to Bali. What did you do when you were there?
Well, it started out as me going there to stay at a flow temple and like learn, do flow stuff, fire stuff. I was still fairly new, had been doing it for a couple of years, but was like really starting to get into it more. And so I ended up going to this place, Bali Flow Temple, and like staying with the community there. And I was like there to try to help like capture and like make a little video about the place, or just the goal was for me to try to share all that. And it just didn't quite, but it was a great experience. But while I was there, I discovered something more. Like that meant something to me. And there was this tiny restaurant down the street that I would go eat at all the time. And me just being curious as I am, because I didn't really know much about Bali before I went there. This was another place that just kind of showed up that, and I'm like, but just absolutely incredible. Like the culture there and the way that the community exists, and they kind of like held on to their roots a lot there. You know what I mean? And so I was really curious and like always talking to her name's Uni at the restaurant. You know what I mean? And she was like, she would talk to me and tell me about all the stuff I wanted to know. And I just kind of became more and more involved. And they started taking me to ceremonies and started, and like dressed me in the clothing. And I went to meet all these people with them and got really immersed in like their world and their community. You know what I mean? And so it kind of inspired me because it was like me were trying to like capture stuff and tell more of a story. And just the magic that I experienced of like being immersed in this community, and not only that, like the art that they do, and like the way that they use art in their ceremonial practice and in their and it's part of their spirit, and it's part of like the way their community connects with spirit. You know what I mean? It's like and they come together to do these things. Like I'm one of my I felt like I was meant to be on this island because I love monsters. Absolutely love monsters. It's just like something in me. I almost feel like a creature myself sometimes, probably that's why. But I really resonate with that kind of energy. And when I went there, I also didn't know this, but for their New Year, they built these giant ogos, and they're giant monsters, like woven out of bamboo and like paper. I mean, elegant, just crap, like so incredibly well crafted. It's mind blowing. And they parade the streets with them. They're like, oh, like the island shuts down. There's like no driving, no nothing, and they just all parade and carry these things around, And I also really loved the aspect of their craftsmanship with wood is incredible. Just absolutely incredible. And so I got thinking after experiencing all this, and I was like, I just see like crossovers, because a lot of the way I do art is very spiritual to me. You know, there's a connection to source, to creativity, to something in me, and I feel like I'm a conduit for that. And it feels like there's more to it. Like it feels like spirit to me. It's special, you know. And I feel like when I watch them do those practices, like and using the like in even if they're not like aware of it, but like you know they make like penjors like for specific holidays, and they're beautiful. And they're just and I was like, you know, I could see how like I would like to like cross my arts over with them, and I wanted to just be involved more. So I was like, I'm gonna come, and I had already got really close with this family, you know. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back and like work on a documentary. And so I was calling it Ritual of Art, and I came back the next winter, and I stayed in the village actually. Like I rented a house, and it's like really cool, like right down the street from Union Arta, and started just getting more involved, doing a lot of ceremonial stuff with them. You know, and then they have the local yard, which is like where they build, like each village kind of has like a yard that they have, like a gathering space for community and projects and things. And so I was really close. I could walk there. And so I'd hang out, and then an archer would take me and introduce me to everyone. And they kind of seen me the year before. Like people were starting to recognize me because I was around all the time, you know? And so we like went and would hang out at the yard in the evenings, and I was helping build one of the ogos. So like they would teach me how to weave the bamboo and make these pieces, and there would be times like Arda wasn't there, but everyone like knew who I was, and you know, like knew kind of the things that I was up to. And so sometimes like there was the language barrier there, but like because we all were standing on common ground and already knew, like didn't matter, we communicated. They like pointed over for me to come and do stuff with them, um and it just started to paint more of a picture of like this intercultural exchange, and this like way that you know we're from different worlds, but when we're kind of channeling into the same thing and sharing this experience, like it just was beautiful. You know what I mean? It was so special. And I'd like hang out at the yard and spend fire for the kids. And you know, they had like a fundraising thing that they do where they like, and like they were sponsored by like I think like a cigarette company or something like that, because these things are expensive to make, you know. So but like they had like a sponsorship party, and so I performed fire spinning for their sponsorship party. And the whole goal was I was helping them create the ogo, and then we'd do the parade, and I was going to spin fire in the parade with and so that was like the whole plan. We were working towards it. And not only that, I was like meeting, because I like was all trying to like kind of lay the foreground to come back and do a more serious filming. So this was kind of like all like priming the waters, you know. But while I was there, um I'm glad I was able to capture what I did, because also COVID's going on, mind you. This is like COVID is starting to rage at this point. And but I was like meeting with the mayor of the town. Like Arda would set up meetings, and so we went and met, and he'd like do like kind of like translate, but then we'd talk in English too. But he'd give them like the lowdown, and then we'd like converse, you know. But like the mayor of Tempak City, the police force, the leader of the temple, the leader of the yard, to like discuss what I was trying to accomplish. And they were all like so welcoming and so much like wanting to support and contribute to it. You know what I mean? I even said like if we go in the temple, like I can make sure it's like a small camera. He's like, no, you do whatever you like, you full whatever you got to do, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So it just was, and I was having so much fun. Like I was really getting to know them. I was just immersed in it. It was just, and it was just, it's hard to explain when you're just like living it. You know what I mean? And my goal is to be able to like capture that and share that kind of stuff with people, you know? So we were getting ready, all the stuff, and then COVID just, I mean, derailed everything. I mean, I had to come home early before the parade even happened. And this was the second time. The year previous, I went home right before it too. So I missed it both times now. You know what I mean? And I had put so much work like with them, and was like very excited for just the collaboration, and to like really feel like I was doing it. You know what I mean? And I barely made it home before the borders closed. Like just flying through airports as they were closing, literally. So And then I just haven't been back since. You know, definitely very crushing in a lot of ways. You know, I felt, but I still talk to the family. I've tried many times where I say I'm going back, and I haven't made it, but I'm not. I'm still very determined to go back. You know what I mean? Um, and I just have like what I really want to do is to like show that like using art you can like really break down barriers and really like cultivate a space where magic can happen, and where where you're from or what your background is kind of dissolves.
Yeah.
Because they didn't care what religion I was. Like that, I went and shared practice with them, but I didn't have to like. It wasn't like a rule or a law that I had to like. Just the fact that I was willing to go and share the space is all that mattered. You know what I mean? And I feel like with the art and stuff like that, it creates a bridge to common ground on when you're from such alien worlds. You know what I mean? Especially for me as an artist. You know what I mean? And I do think that like art can have a way of just creating that space in general. Um, and so kind of this vision I started building was like, okay, and the thing is I didn't have like, this is the vision, this is how it goes. I more so was like trying to set the stage to let it evolve and to let it kind of, because I also didn't want to like just tell them this is what I'm doing. I'm like, no, like I wanted them to feed into the experience too, because this is about intercultural exchange, not about I'm here to tell this story. It's like, I'm here to capture it, like kind of however it evolves. And yeah, I could plant the seeds and do the work, but what actually happens is that's the magic. That's where it's going to kind of we'll see what blossoms. You know what I mean? That's the exciting part.
Yes.
So the ultimate, like, what I wanted to capture was like being able to show the monster, the creation of it. Oh God, I should call it. And like and really like capture the spirit of that and the creation of that, and then mix in like my fire spinning with it. So like being able to be hands on and then perform with them and in my own way as well. You know what I mean? And then like on a more like even deeper level, like their sculptural work is just incredible. And so part of like the other vision with this is being like not only doing like what the like they already have all these practices and things they do with like the yoga, but like how can I match my world with theirs too now,
Yeah.
So I started getting the idea. So this fire inside, this is one of my sculptures that I've done, and it's all about fire sculpting from the inside out of sculptures. So you actually, and it's controlled, it's not like and it's slow and it's intimate and it's very, there's a lot of power behind it. You know what I mean? And so I got the idea. I was like, like, what would it be like to collaborate with like a Balinese artist or a couple, even like a group of us, and make a sculpture and then hold like space for the whole community to come and share in the burning and make it like a ceremony, what I mean? And like not only for the Balinese, for anyone on the island, like any, I've tried to pull in as many of my friends and other stuff like that as I can too, but so the whole journey is like a lot of layers to it and things I can capture. And I was just trying to lay as much foreground as I could of things that I thought I could come back and encapsulate, what I mean, into one documentary. Because actually, like, there's a lot going on, but that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, it all kind of fits together.
Yeah.
And I really think that I actually did a fire inside once with one of the locals, like, because we're talking about it and stuff. And he had a log sitting under, that was like the house I was renting. And so it had like the perfect opportunity to do it. And I told him about it, what it was. And he actually like, we set it up and he like prayed to the island and like did this. And we did fire inside. And then me and my juggling buddy played with fire in the street. We all hung out there, and then the locals just started stopping and hanging out with us. We're just burning the stuff. I mean, it wasn't anything like, but like, imagine if we like created like a intentional sculpture together and like prepped it and made a full ceremony out of it. I'd like, that's just kind of, that's like what I want to do. I just want to like reach for that kind of experience and to cultivate those kind of experiences and really like share it with people that are from like a whole other path from me, and I learned so much being there. I really touched me in a lot of ways and helped like fuel my spirit really. And there's just something about like sharing space with people that you literally can't talk to, but you're having a blast. You know what I mean? So it's something I'm very passionate about, and I still think it'll happen when it's meant to. You know what I mean? And that's why I just like keep trying and keep trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it really touched me, and my goal is to be able to like share that with people, be a conduit to that energy and experience, to be able to capture it and bring it out into the world and to share it.
Yeah. I think that's really special. I was talking to somebody the other day about like language barriers and like, but when you're with people, it's the body language, you can tell, it helps bridge that gap a little bit. And then I'm sure working on pieces together was even more of like a bridge to each other, like you said.
Yeah, and it was just like it's silly, they would even be like, "Who's this guy? Like, why does he want to hang out here?" Like, but we just ended up having so much fun. You know what I mean? And the kids are fun too. You know what I mean? It just like get on their level and in their world versus like just being there to like be a tourist.
Yeah.
Like, and that felt really powerful to me, to like really step into their world and kind of see it from their eyes as much as I could anyway.
Yeah.
And to try to share mine too. They love the fire spinning. I used to spin fire for the kids. Like every night I was there, I bring my stuff and play around for them a bit, and the adults loved it too, but kids especially. Kids are the easiest to impress with just about anything. You know what I mean? So I have some ideas, some plot and planning, but we'll see how that. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And I can only strive to keep following the path and pursuing it, but I'm letting it evolve as it goes too, and trying not to be too stringent with my planning, or just keep working towards it and putting energy to it the best I can. So
I feel like that's what you have to do. You kind of have to surrender a little bit. You got to just let the flow happen, because I feel like things oftentimes never work out the way that if we try to be too in control of all the parts and pieces, it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah. My mentor, his name's Timeless. One of the best things he told me, he's like any good art piece, you should let it evolve. If you try to, he said, like, maybe don't be too hard, like, don't stay too locked into your vision in the start, because he's like, he was almost saying it was better when you let it blossom more throughout the journey too. And granted, sometimes you got to do something specific, but he's always encouraged me. And I just feel like that's like with any endeavor in general. You know what I mean? You almost get blinded by it if you're so focused on one aspect.
Totally. You gotta let things take a life of their own, for sure. So I'm curious about the story of the monsters. What is it like? What part of their culture? Why did they do those ceremonies?
So it's interesting, because it almost seems like the way that he described it to me is like, because they invoke that sort of energy once a year, and sometimes at the end they like slay it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then also at the end they like all stay inside. Like no electronics, no anything. Like you empty the streets for a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's meant to spend time with family, and that's the day for the island, the monsters to have the island, sort of. You know what I mean?
Okay,
so it's kind of like, I feel like them saying like, hey, like we know that this is part of life, and like and to be able to like embrace, invoke it, and then also like let it have its day. You know what I mean? And that was something I was very curious about too, and I still like have more. That's like the real goal is like to go back. One, sponsor it myself, like pay for all the materials, everything, so that it's just covered. Two, the other thing was fun is like I would feed them. Like sometimes Uni would like I'd give her money. Really, it was like at the end I actually missed the big dinner that we were planning, because I had to fly home, but I was still I was like feed them all, like just so it's like be able to hang out with them and like contribute to them too, and to the experience. You know what I mean? And then like also be so much hands on that I could learn a lot more about that, and like because and learn like because usually like one artist kind of gets their image for it, and so I want to be able to like hang out with that guy more and like pick his brain, and really get more of like, because like it fascinates me because of my love for monsters. So I honestly also want to know as much more as I can.
Yeah.
And but they're incredible. I mean, I can't even do justice to you like how magnificent these things are.
Mm-hmm. That is really, really awesome. What are you working on right now while you're creating and kind of moving towards that goal?
Um, I am trying to. I think the biggest thing, just as an artist, is I'm trying to create more stability and like capital to grow. Because like any business or any endeavor in life, you got to have stuff like that. You got to be able to. And so I took a long, hard look at my art, and I haven't been chainsaw carving as much. I just haven't been set up. I'm circling around to that right now. But in the meantime, I have been diving deep into my Germ project, which has it's blossomed over the last or been cultivated over the last 8 years. And it started as me just like giving away like stickers at Burning Man. And there weren't even germs then. I was just hand drawing on postal stickers, these characters. And slowly over time, I started drawing these blobs just because there was a simple shape. And I was like, wait, like amoebas? And I drew the first germ randomly. And it sparked me. I was like, I could just draw a bunch of, because like you don't have to think. It's the hard part is keeping them looking different by drawing, but you're drawing like basic forms. Like you could draw any blob, and if you change the face and things, so I was like, man, this is like a way to kind of mass produce without having to think too hard about it. Yeah. But man, it started me on a whole journey that I just wasn't even expecting. You know what I mean? And so I started making the germs and giving away at Burning Man, and it became like this experience where I would ask people if they wanted my germs, and people don't know what to tell you because they're like go buy the porta potties, you know. They gotta start having a little weird sometimes. But then I'd pull out this fat stack of like hand drawn germs, and people would lose their minds. You know what I mean? And so it became like kind of like a catalyst where I was like, oh, like this creates like it's a way to like have an experience with people and use my art. And it just was comical, the things I was going through with the germs, you know what I mean? And then I started like really diving deep and like studying germs and writing about it. And now it's turned into, actually, I brought you a gift. You're so sweet. I brought you this is the first time I've actually this has been the result. It has evolved and mutated into this project now where, you know, like it's kind of like a collectible because normally like at Burning Man, people get to pick their stack, but now it's like, you don't know which one you get. You know what I mean? Like your character is unique to you. And so really cool. Yeah, part of this is I'm trying to find ways to use my art to not only like share that energy, but like also support myself. You know what I mean? And because the art means something to me. I love to create experiences, and I love to use my art to influence the world, you know? So now I'm trying to mesh the worlds of like being able to build a foundation so I can really grow as an artist. And so, but also like really like, I love this thing. Yeah. This whole, like, I even worked with a voice actor that has made like a whole like a little reel about this, and I animated it. And, so I'm really pushing, working on my Germ project, and I'm trying to infect the world. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go viral. I swear. I started my pandemic. So clever. Yeah, and I started my pandemic first. Like pre-COVID, I was doing germs before it was cool. Like, and I have too much fun. I have way too much fun with this, and it's evolved into, you know, because like this is all about infectious joy. And that's what the germs were doing. It was spreading joy and happiness. And I was like, man, it's contagious, you know? Yeah. Joy is contagious. Like if you're very joyful and vibrant, and like it rubs off on people, you know? So I took that, encapsulated in my art, and made it into germs to infect everyone with, you know what I mean? And it has just it's been too much fun, you know? And then it's evolved. Now it's just, and the germs has just got such a depth to me to explore, and I'm really just enjoying it a lot, like artistically speaking right now. So I'm working on that kind of stuff, making my germs, trying to, you know, build my germ army and get them out there. And I'm also like really planning on how to go back to Bali. And my biggest kind of goal right now, I feel like, is I want, instead of doing the documentary, because like it's been so long now, and I don't want to go there to like put pieces in place to come back. I want to make something that's tangible now and on these spots. And I also think that like the journey of getting there and all the things that I'm going through and just the journey of an artist, you know, the journey I've been through has got so many twists and turns and ups and downs. And like I could talk your ear off all day. Like I could go in depth and depth and depth on all these things. But like I started thinking, you know, like I'm looking at it a little different. Instead of making a documentary, which maybe it will turn into one eventually.
Yeah.
I want to start doing like a blog series that's more like capturing the journey, and I'm calling it Waking Flame, the journey of an artist. You know what I mean? And so like now I was working on a Kickstarter, but I'm not sure that that's exactly the route I want to go. But basically I'm building some sort of fundraiser or some sort of way to like help use my art to gain support to kind of start really taking this journey more seriously. You know, like get the gear that I need to record properly.
Yeah.
You know, I need to like there's just lots of layers of that, and I also just need like the money to go out and do it, you know. And my art is the best thing I have to do that with, you know what I mean. So I'm working on growing a lot of my art and finding ways to use it as structure to really go on this new like path of my art of like kind of blogging it and sharing, because I'm doing a lot of writing. I've written a ton about my journey and the things that I do, and I've shared a lot of that in depth. But I think that turning it into more visual, plus I can just talk, you know what I mean? And share it more. And I'll probably do lots of writing, excuse me, as well. But it'll give me a chance to really tell the story and let people see me and bring people on to the like almost send my podcast, have other artists step in with me that I meet on the journey. You know what I mean? Like my friend Andre, I'd love to bring him on. You know, he's a Brazilian that I had met in Bali my first trip. And he taught me to juggle. He taught me silks. He taught me all sorts of stuff. And I've like been to Canada with him. I got him to Burning Man, you know, like just and be able to share the whole journey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that includes with going international and it includes like all the intercultural stuff that I want, you know. And instead of just focusing on the Bali thing, I want to start sharing all of it and like what it's like to be on this path and like the kinds of goals and dreams that I have and how to, you know, bring them all together.
I feel like it's almost like sharing your magic.
Yeah.
It's all these little magical things that happen and these people that come on your path. And I really love not only the art in this, but it's like you said, it's like the energy you put into it, the story you have behind it. Like people can feel that. Like I can feel that. And I feel like that makes it even more special. I really like it.
Yeah, and I like I had last night was like it was my friend's birthday, and I gave him one of these, and I was surprised like he like the people were enjoying it so much. I ended up talking about and sharing about it because people are so curious, and they just it's infectious, you know. I mean, like that's and I really like a big thing is I want to use my art for good. I want to be a force in this world. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want my art to just be something that pays my bills. Granted, I gotta eat, I gotta survive too, but like I think part of my problem is I've focused too much on not that part. I focused too much on being the force and wanting to represent all this that like now I'm like, okay, I have to take care of this other stuff too. Like I have to be a human and like create stability. I can't just, so that's what I'm trying to stay very focused and driven, but create the better stability and foundation to achieve it and to really make those steps and strides that I've been working for a long time. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. You need the foundation. Bring the vision to life, right?
Could get a little lost in it sometimes, you know what I mean? Which I think is okay, but I've taken a long, hard look at myself and my art and the kinds of like steps and things that I think I need to take to really be successful, you know? I also just know I've been at this a really long time, and I've cultivated a lot of skills, connections, just all sorts. It's all sitting here. And now it's like, how do I use it? How do I put it all to work to be this force? You know what I mean? So I'm really driven. It's like all I can lay awake and thinking about, and I is like how I'm gonna like transition into this. You know what I mean? And but I really feel like it's coming. Like I feel like I've cultivated so much over the years, and it's kind of like coming to a boil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and I'm just not going to give up. So I'm just gonna keep trying until until that next door opens. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a big part is like willing to put in the work. You know, and definitely COVID. I feel like knocked us all off our. I feel like I kind of lost my own magic for a bit, you know, and I think it was like maybe healthy in some ways too, just to take a step back. And now I feel like I've been like kind of centering myself and really asking myself what I want again, and and finding and just like I've been getting out more and doing things and getting more of that taste of like the magic and like what you can create. You know what I mean, from being yourself and really carrying passion and fire in you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I want to light the fire in other people. That's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? I want to be able to pass that sort of inspiration, and you know, and also I have met so many incredible people that also fuel mine. I just, you know, I really value the endeavors I see other artists on, and some of them have really inspired me to like kick it up a few notches. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like sometimes like I could do better. You know what I mean? Totally. And I feel like I'm ready to. I've been trying, and I also see a lot of really good prospects coming up. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna keep pushing. I love it. Where are you out in the world? Like, where can people find you? Have you started your blog? Yeah, I haven't started it just yet. But I'm laying a lot of the like. It's coming soon. You know what I mean? My goal is to kind of launch like some sort of fundraiser soon, to be determined. My birthday month is June, so I'm kind of thinking I want to try to do it like the month I'm turning 33, like the perfect number to like put it out there. And so I that's evolving, and I've got a lot of things pulling together. But you know, I'm living in Folsom. Uh, I uh, you can be found on social medias like Instagram, Facebook. I have an Etsy page, which really more will be on there. But these are available on there right now. Yeah. And also email, which is listed on my Instagram and stuff like that if people want to get in touch with me. But really, if people want to support the journey and want to help me get out and share these things, like the best thing you do is just buy my art or comment or share or you know, but buying my art, people don't realize how much it empowers me every little bit. You know what I mean? It just helps me have more of the stability to take care of what I have to in life and go back into me. It's all fueling back into me being able to chase these dreams and cultivate and share these things. You know what I mean? And I really want to be able to like pass that on in other ways too and stuff like that and create spaces that are like kind of bountiful and like and have a lot of weight to them and purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I just I feel like I'm really on a mission right now, and I'm just so I've got the fire a lot these days, and a lot of people have been like, I feel like I've been getting that a lot from other people too, like a lot of love and support. And to any of my friends and family that do listen to this, like thank you so much because they all helped make this happen. Like I would not be here if it weren't for my friends, families, strangers, all sorts of people that have supported me over the years, and really it's been tough. There's been times it's really been hard, starving artist, you know what I mean? And it's been all of you that have kept me going because I would have gave up or been forced to probably to give up a long time ago if I didn't have that. Yeah. You know? So I'm so grateful for the people that have gotten me here, you know, and now I'm just ready to try to springboard to the next level, you know what I mean? Yeah. I want to build an empire, but just so I can do amazing things and share amazing things with people. Yeah. You know? It's almost like a community, like you're building your community. Absolutely. Oh, 100. Yeah. I mean, even in like my fire circles and my where we're really performed, we're all very close. It's family, you know. Yeah. They have all done even that, like all have supported and helped me grow so many ways. You know, you know, I'm just grateful for all of it. And community, that's Balinese are very community based. That's probably why I also really like them and doing the stuff with them because you know it's very rooted in their community and just how they function as people. And I think we kind of lack a lot. It exists. It's different. We still have community. But the way that it's just very different, and I really admire it. You know what I mean? It's really touching. You know. I feel that. I feel in our culture, specifically westernized culture, we are disconnected. And I feel like COVID specifically made us even more disconnected. And so much human connection. And I do see like art brings people together
community brings people together, but I am also so inspired by other cultures and how strong they are in their connection, in their people. And I just think we push too much towards like being independent and being alone. And that's actually not the way we're supposed to be.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Literally.
Yeah, that saying's really good, a really good one, because, and like so much of what I've done, even Burning Man, like my camp, that I've like interjected myself into a lot of community spaces and just root in because that's they've been the most supportive. They're the things that have really like brought magic into my life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and I only want to help cultivate and grow more of that in the world. I mean, the best I can, and just do my part to stimulate that in the world. Because I especially feel like these days, like we're so disconnected, we're so out of touch with each other and the world, and what community, like we have the pockets of community, but what it means to just there's humanity's missing something right now, or at least in different part, like the whole every globe's all in different things going all over, but more so in like the world that I see around me in a general sense. Like I just, I want to be a way to like kind of bring hope and to inspire people that we can be a community, and we have to like try to look past differences and find common ground. You know what I mean? And sharing things like, and I feel like art is such a way to like it's the bridge. Yeah. Even in our world, you know what I mean? Like in our communities and stuff like that, I feel like it's a bridge to look past a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? And it kind of dissolves the world around you a bit and pulls you on common ground again. And so like I want to be a conduit to that. I want to be a conduit to this, to like what I feel in my heart and what I see in the world, and to like, and to receive it too. Because I know there's just so many people out there that want that for the world too, and also on their own missions too. I've met so many beautiful people. That's the other amazing thing on this journey that I've been on. It's just so many incredible people that know who they are, know what they want, and are like all in and just beautiful inside and out, Yeah. And those people also give me hope and make me feel like what I'm doing is a worthy thing to invest myself in my life into. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's like, and the more those people come together, the stronger it is. Yeah. So I'm curious to see where we are in the next 5 years and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can cultivate too. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love the vision and the hope. And like you said, even with your germs, it's infectious. So the more we try to create community and we show up as our authentic selves and we connect with people and we show up for other people, I feel like it's just going to keep growing and growing and taking a life of its own. Yeah, and it's like, once you get the fire roaring, it kind of can grow a lot quicker, It's like, I feel like it snowballs. The bigger the snowball is, the faster it goes down the hill, So I have a lot of hope for the world right now, honestly. And I know it's a lot of people think it's a really dark place, but if we look past the social media and you look into your friends and the communities you do know, that there's a lot of magic out there and a lot of love and goodness that I think is it has a lot of power in this world, and I think we underestimate that sometimes. And I for one think that it will just continue to grow. I'm sure as hell going to try to feed it. That's so I'll do my best, but it's very inspiring, and I do feel I'm looking forward to it. I think we could see some real real powerful things in our life in the coming years. I think so too. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. With me. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me, and just giving me the space to share it all. Like I said, I there's just so many layers to all the things, and that's a big part of why I want to start doing a blog, so you can be able to tell the story in depth. You know what I mean? Because there's just with fire inside and with the spiritual aspects and the intercultural stuff, and even just like the awesome fire and the I just really think that an opportunity like this really gives me the space to have more of a voice, and I want to translate that into also being able to do that more consistently. And I think this has been a big eye opener for me, so thank you so much for having me. I totally super fun. And maybe down the road again, I could come back and give you some more updates on where things have gone and
Yes,
how
please.
we can dive deeper into some of the subjects too and stuff. So
Yeah, I would love that. And when you find out what you're going to do for your fundraiser in June, please let me know. I would
absolutely.
love to share it. I would love to be there.
Yes, I absolutely. I do think that there will be an event of some sorts. So I'll keep you posted, and I also it'll all be on my socials if anyone wants to keep up with what I'm doing. And all of your love and support means the world. So thank you guys so much.
If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to my podcast. I will link all of Joey's information in the description so that you can find him and buy some of his art. Remember, loves, your best is always enough. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. Until next time.